Hi there and welcome to the Shoe Rainer drawing channel on YouTube, and I promised to do you a palm tree a few lessons ago and people have said, where is it? Well, here it is. Let's not talk about it, let's do it. Well, we're going to need a pencil and a pen and an eraser, and this is going to be a kind of a date palm kind of. I know there are lots of different kinds of palm trees, but this is kind of mostly the kind of ones that you have kind of in the south of France kind of thing. So you want to have a, it's probably a bit too circular for the size. So you want kind of a circular bit on top, and then it's going to be kind of in the ground there. We'll have the sea in the background. And it has this kind of spirally kind of pattern, which is really a kind of a crisscross, really. So if you kind of put that in just to give yourself something to work on, and then some of these will then kind of go off into palms, and these palms, dust there, palms go out, and you want to have a little kind of curve at the end. And especially the more sideways they go, and then a bit shorter there. This is very even, and I think that will kind of do. Now also you're going to want some dates hanging down. We'll have a few dates on either side like that, just to get that kind of planned in. And these will, a couple of these will be kind of coming out from this kind of lumpy bit at the top. So the dates are the bits that are nearest to you. So those are the bits you really want to do first, and get them just in little clusters like that, and they'll be hanging down. Maybe another lot over there like that. And then you really want kind of a wiggly kind of edge to this kind of, it's kind of like a ball up at the top. And then you want to do these lines quite slightly wiggly, and you want kind of a rough edged wiggly line for the palm tree edge, kind of like that. And then again, I mean you can just just draw them straight in, but I think they're best done with a kind of wiggly-ish line, broken, and kind of, because this is the old part of the stem here, which is kind of deteriorating slowly, the trunk of the tree, and it's all nice and fresh up at the top, but this has all been trimmed back years ago at this part of the tree, and so it's all kind of old and decrepit, and I think you kind of want to make it look like that a bit. Like that. Good. Now you want a couple of these palms will actually be kind of coming out from the tree, from there, like that, and then just kind of take them round like that, and there we go. And a couple like that for the start. Now we can put in the palm leaves, and each leaf will be just a flick of the pen, and kind of near the stem they're kind of not very close together, they're a bit smaller, and then they start to get a bit bigger towards the edge, towards the middle, and then they get smaller again towards the end. So you have to kind of control your flicks. And so basically we're doing a kind of silhouette, really. So like that, and then they'll get closer together, so you'll get more fronds here, and they'll be slightly larger, and then they get shorter, and also then they curl around and flick off at an angle from the curve of the stalk, the central stalk, like that. And I think you just need to kind of practice it, really, I suppose. I don't know. So I was really lucky last week, and I had this fabulous opportunity. I was invited to come and visit some international schools in the south of France. So I had the opportunity to go and look at some palm trees, and you might have seen the video I did. Silly, because I just knew I thought I ought to put a video in case people were wondering where I was if I didn't do a video for a week. And I had the afternoon off, so I was a little bit kind of I don't know, not stir crazy, what is it, you know, kind of a bit happy that I had the afternoon off and I didn't have to talk my lungs off like I usually do on a school visit. I just talk, and usually a bit exhausted at the end of the day, so to have the afternoon off was really, really nice, and just to be able to sit in the sun on the edge of the Mediterranean was just fantastic. And now I'm back home and it's been raining. But a lot has happened. It's been very warm here back in England while I was away in south of France, and spring has really sprung while I was away. It's kind of quite dramatic. Now I'm going to put some other ones in the background. So these will be kind of sprouting out from behind. And how are we doing for time? 6 minutes. Yeah, it's a kind of, you can only go as fast as you can with these. I think we're going to want one up there with these fronds. With fronds like these, who needs an enemies? Ah ha 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 ha. And maybe one just fitting in there. Like that. And it's just really rather boring, I suppose. You just have to kind of work your way through it. And maybe something in there just to fill in that space. Like that. And then we want to kind of shade in underneath here and shade in round behind the dates, so the dates kind of stand out. And then just put a kind of a row of evenly spaced flicks of the pen up the side, and leave a little bit, don't go right to the edge, so you get a little bit of kind of light coming around from the side, and then that should then kind of give you a kind of a feeling of a palm tree. And then we have it kind of growing in the sand, and then there's the sea behind, and then maybe there's the horizon, and we can have a sailing yacht going like that, something like that. Does that look like a sailing yacht? Kind of. Have that on the horizon, sailing away like that, and then we probably want a bit of a kind of shadow of the palm tree there. And then when we know it's dry, and I know these Rotring Tikky pens, they dry very quickly, so I feel confident that I can erase the pencil lines underneath. And there is your palm tree that I promised you when I was in the south of France last week. So there we go. And I think I might just put a little bit of shading in up there just to kind of give a feeling of the kind of body of that. This is where it kind of grows up, and they kind of chop the old leaves off, and then it kind of shrinks in like that. So there we go. I hope you enjoyed that. And if you did, then just put a few kind of clouds in the background. If you enjoyed that, keep coming back to the Shoe Rainer Drawing channel on YouTube. And in the meantime, I want you to keep drawing. I want you to practice. And I'll see you next time. Bye.